All right, guys, welcome back to the DZD podcast with myself, Danny.
Zachy.
Unfortunately, Dante isn't here right now. He's with his family over in Orlando, but he'll be back soon. But today, we have a special guest. He's a former Gator alumni. He's a starting defensive back for Bowling Green University. We're here with Jordan Oladokun.
What's up, man? Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, man.
Yes, sir. How you been working out for next year?
Yeah, I've been down here training every day. Weekends off, but every day I've been training for this season.
Yeah, you have a big year next year, man. We're excited for that, but I kind of want to start off from the beginning, man. Where did your love for football come from?
Probably just watching my brother, at a young age. He's about 5 years older than me. So watching him and my dad play in the front yard, like I always just wanted to be like them too. So growing up and just following their footsteps.
Yeah, you played a lot of sports growing up, right?
Yeah, I played football, basketball, and baseball.
That's good.
Which one did you like the most growing up? Football?
No, I like basketball the most, to be honest. But I'm 5'11", so I kind of knew I wasn't gonna be able to play in the NBA, and so I took the football route.
When I was talking to Coach North about that, we're gonna have you on this Sunday. He wanted a question. He's like, Jordan, why did you never play baseball? Like he thought you were so good at baseball. Why did you never want to pursue it?
It just spring, baseball's in the springtime.
Mm-hmm.
I played my freshman year actually before I got to Gaither. I played and I was really good, but it's in the springtime and that's when football, it's spring football happened. That's when all college coaches come out, see you, and I didn't want to take away from what I really wanted to do. But that to Coach North, that's my biggest regret. I wish I would have played.
Yeah, he told me about it. He's like, Jordan Oladokun was really good at baseball. He should have played. Man.
Yeah, that's my biggest regret. I wish I would have played, but too late.
So your sophomore year of high school, you had 10 interceptions, led the state as a sophomore. Can you talk about that season?
My breakout season, it was kind of, I felt like coming in, it was a lot of doubts. And then being my brother's name was so popular here in Hillsborough County. So I just wanted to make a name for myself. And I don't know, to be honest with you, it was just everything happened so quick. Looking back at it, my sophomore year, that was my best year of high school in my opinion. But it all just happened so quick. I can't even describe it. It was the best time of my life, obviously. But just got doubted my whole sophomore year. I was probably 5'8", 5'9", 155, 160, playing with 18-year-olds that are 200. So, just being doubted, fueled me to I feel getting those interceptions in the state.
And after that season, was it when coaches started, reaching out to you more and stuff like that?
Yeah, I had my first offer my sophomore year in spring. I had 2 offers. It wasn't any bid schools. It was no offense to them, but Power 5 schools, which I wanted to get, and it was starting to pick up a little bit, and then right before my junior year, in the summers when everything started happening, the schools started picking up the Power 5 schools, and so that's when I started getting my offers.
So that sophomore year, did you only play DB or were you on the offensive side too?
No, I only played DB, which was weird for me because I always played both sides. But our team was really good that year, and I was young, so Coach Carson was just focus on one position right now.
So how did you make that transition for the next year to offense too?
It's just what kind of we needed for me to do. I didn't start full time on offense. I played probably 50% of the plays on offense, but my first position was receiver. So I always played receiver. I always knew the offensive side. So when he gave me that chance, I was bet. And just took off with it.
And that junior year was a big year. Y'all made a run in the playoffs, and y'all had Tony Bartolo who threw 45 touchdowns. How was that team? That was our first year at Gator. That team, till this day, is our favorite team that Gator's ever put together. So how was that year?
So it was a blast. That was probably the closest we've ever been football wise, and that's just because all the players that were on that sophomore year team all the young players me, Tony, I know Kobe was there. We all rose up, and it was a next year where we it was kind of we were being doubted. We went 7-4. We weren't really that good, but that year is we took off, and we were so close. Everybody wanted to see everybody win. we all wanted to see Tony do good. They all wanted to see me, like the players like Jeff, Sammy. Like we were loaded that year. Unfortunately we lost, but yeah, we were really good. Coaches, everything it felt normal. Everybody just glued.
And was it after that season when you started going to visits? Like I saw you went to Penn State, you went to their games and stuff. How was that experience?
Well, I went to Penn State during the season in junior year.
Oh yeah.
Actually, people don't know this. I missed a game, so I tore a ligament in my finger. So I missed like 4 games my junior year, and Penn State had called me and called Coach Carson and was like, "Hey, we want him to come up to a game. We want to see him." Like the head coach want to see me, and I didn't want to miss. I missed when we played Tech. Like you guys know how big of a game that is. And I asked Coach Carson. He was like, "This is your life. Like go do. Like I want you to do it." So I ended up missing that game to go up there for a game, and obviously, luckily they offered me, so it was worth it. But I took some visits during the season, and then really after my junior season before COVID hit. Is when I went on all my visits.
Yeah. You were still playing with a cast though, right?
Yeah,
I remember some videos.
Yeah, I was. So my finger, I was supposed to be out for the season because I had surgery, but I fought it basically and came back a game before the playoffs to try to see how I could play with it, and then I played the whole playoffs with the Cavs.
So that junior year, I think you guys were 6 or 7-0, and you went into that game against Armwood. That was a big game. Everyone was there. I mean, I remember that was probably the most packed game I've been at. You guys dropped that one.
Yeah.
But how did you guys put together? You won the rest of your games until you got to the state semis after that. Did that loss bring the team closer together?
Yeah, because we knew we should have beat Armwood that year, and it just didn't happen. So once we lost, it was we know we're better than this. We should be winning. We should have won that game. Armwood almost only beat us 14-0. So, and that was the best team in the state that year probably, besides the IMGs and the big schools like that. But we lost to them only 14-0. We knew we could go deep in the playoffs and be able to win. So that fueled us a lot. I don't think if we would have won that game, we would have went to state semis, just because that loss kind of it was an eye-opening thing for us. We were rolling. We were 7-0, I think you said, and we were hot. So that loss kind of put us back in our place to keep going.
So that year you had about 30 catches for 500 yards and 7-8 touchdowns. You were out 4 games. That's impressive. And the state semis game, you had 11 for 200 and a touchdown. That's the last game of that year. Can you talk about that performance and kind of not putting the team on your back, but being an impact player in that big of a game?
Yeah. So Chico that year, he was having a great year. I think he had 1,200.
Yeah, he set a school record.
Yeah, set a school record, 70 catches or something. So going in that game, like you said, I missed 4 games. So they knew about me on the defensive side, but they didn't really I didn't really do too much during the season on the offensive side. So they were keying in hard on Chico. They put their best guy, had the safety over him. So it was basically whoever was on the backside had the one-on-one and was able to go. And so when I saw that, I told Coach Carson, Coach Dave, Coach Silver, look, there's one-on-one with me. Just let me work basically. And they gave me the go. They trusted me. I played that game without a cast. Actually, I couldn't do it. I was tired of it. But I was just let me go one-on-one, and was luckily to put up 200 yards. And had I think 11 catches, yeah. So that was the most I had in the game ever, probably. So it was, yeah.
And then after that, you went into your senior year, and how I told Carson, paper-wise, that team got even more stacked.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of your boys from Jesuit came down to Gaither. How was that year? Y'all went undefeated.
I'd say that was the best year for me, even though we came short. But just because I played with all my friends that I played with when I was younger, Kyle I've known for 10+ years, Kobe 10+ years. So it was good playing with them again. And we still brought back a lot of people from the younger team, but that was the best year for me because I was able to go to school with them. it was like almost a dream come true. Like me and Kyle talked about going to high school together before he went to Jesuit and before I went to Gaither. So it was like almost a dream come true playing with everybody and like being able to be on the field with everybody.
So that year that COVID was in its prime there, you know, practices are a mess or whatever. Kyle missed a couple games. You stepped in, you threw for like 275 and a couple touchdowns. Where do you get that like QB from? Because you're a DB wide receiver. That's not really normal.
So I played quarterback when I was a kid, but kind of like with the basketball thing. I mean, you can be a 5'11" quarterback, but the chances are just, the odds aren't like in your favor. And my dad coached me, and he used to call like pass plays, but I only ran the ball. Like I would drop back for 1 second and just run because I didn't like throwing. So I think sort of that, and then baseball too. Like if you kind of watch the game, like I was kind of throwing it like a baseball because that's what I played it since I was 3. So just having that, and then obviously my brother's a quarterback too. So like all the trains I used to go to with him, I'm just so used to like throwing the football. So when Kyle went down, I think with COVID, he had COVID that game. Like coach had put me in, and I was like, you know, we just don't got to run the ball. Like we could throw it too. And they let me throw it. I think I threw like 30 passes that game, but they let me throw a lot. So I was like, bet. So I was just throwing it like a baseball.
Was it hard to play like during COVID? You had so many like restrictions and guidelines. Like, did it affect anything?
Yeah, it was hard. I think, and not to blame COVID, but I think that was a big reason why our team didn't gel and we didn't do as good as we thought, because like you were scared to go to school because you can go to school. Y'all know, y'all went to school and like a person sitting next to you can get COVID. Now you're out for a week and you're missing a football game. And like that's messing with a lot of people's like life too. You think about it, because a lot of people need their senior years to play to get like scholarships. And so I think it was just a whole mental battle that everybody wasn't used to. Like we were the first ones to go through it. So it's kind of like Coach Carson didn't really know what to do. Our coaches like were trying to like sit people, like they were telling us to sit away from everybody in class, like don't shake nobody's hands. Like it was just a tough time to go through, to be honest with you.
Y'all went crazy that season. Y'all, the regular season, y'all went undefeated, right? And then did y'all win the first round of the playoffs, right?
Yeah, so we had to play a play-in to get into the playoffs.
Y'all did, even though y'all went undefeated?
It was COVID was the dumbest time. Like we had to play it. We were the best team in the state in 6A, and they made us play a play-in game to get into the playoff. And we had no home games my whole senior year, and we were the best team in 6A. Yeah. So it was like, it was dumb. But yeah, I think we played the play-in, then we won the first 2, and then went to Lake Mineola and lost week 3.
So how was that game? I've heard from a bunch of people. Like, I want to hear your side. How was that game for you?
That was probably the most intense game I ever played in, just because the way we beat them my junior year. I think we beat them like 42-6 at home. And when we went there, it's like they were ready for us. Like, I'm not talking about like just them, like the fans, like their whole sideline. If y'all go back and watch the game, like their whole sideline was packed full of fans. Like we never played a game where like fans could be on the sidelines. They had like 100 people on their sidelines, and it was like they were right there on the field. And so their fans were just crazy, yelling. Like everybody on the sideline like knew who you were, knew your name, like where you were going to college. Like, so it was just like a constant battle with that. And then I would just say like they surprised us. They shocked us. We like on film, they didn't really look that good. And like, to be honest with you, I don't know if anyone else said it, but we were prepping for Miami, for what's the school down in Miami?
No, St. Thomas?
No, it wasn't St. Thomas. It was not Miami Northwestern. It was one of those schools down in Miami that's really good. And we were prepping for them like when we got into the playoffs, because we knew that was going to be the team that was going to give us the most trouble. So I feel like we were kind of looking ahead too. And when we got into that game, it was like they punched us in the mouth and we didn't know what to do. Like we didn't get tested like that all year. Like, I mean, Armour was good, but it wasn't that like hard of a game for us. Tech was good, but it wasn't that hard of a game. So like when it came to them, it was like, whoa. Everybody kind of got like nervous because it didn't happen all year. Like kind of like my junior year, we lost. And so that kind of gave us that edge. We ain't lose. Like we were the first undefeated team in Gaither history. So we were all like riding too high, I feel like.
And then after that senior year, college was around the corner. you committed to Sanford, and how was that? Your brother was on the team at the time.
Yeah, it was. The reason I went there was because of my brother. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
play with him. We never played any sport together.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I was like, man, that'd be the best thing, like, ever. And unfortunately, he left, I think, a couple months after I signed. So, it was all good, but it was definitely, like, a humbling experience having to go to Sanford.
Mm-hmm.
So you committed to Sanford. You still played your senior year of basketball. Can you talk about being a leader of the team on a first-year head coach? Because he's new to coaching. You know, you've been playing, so you kind of were the leader of that team.
Yeah, it was fun. Like, I knew Coach Jordan because of my brother, so I've known him for like a while. So when I was gonna play for him, I was like, oh, bet. Like, that's kind of why I stayed, because I could have went to college early, but I stayed because I wanted to play for him. And so it was different. He was like young, like you said, first time ever being a head coach. So he was kind of going through like the steps like the same way I was. It was cool being a leader on the team. I played like the previous year before with most of the guys on the team. And so like they kind of already knew me, and like kind of like being the leader, like the point guard. But yeah, it was a fun time playing with Coach Jordan. You know, I wish I could have played with him the year after and my whole high school career, but didn't work like that.
Do college coaches like when you play multiple sports, especially like you're playing football and basketball?
Yeah.
Help in recruiting?
Yeah, like our coaches, most of our coaches don't even recruit you if you don't play multiple sports. So that's everywhere around college football. They like to see that you're a multi-sport athlete, that you can do both.
So then that at your first year in college, you got hurt. How was like fighting through that and coming back?
It was tough. My shoulder, especially like me having like a shoulder injury, I need like my arms, and it just doesn't affect, like it affects my whole arm. So it was tough. Mentally it was tough too. For like the first 2 months I was like down, didn't really want to do anything. I didn't even know football was really like going to be for me, because I'd never been hurt on the football field. So it was like when that happened, I was like, wow, I don't know if I really want to even play anymore. But just rehabbing it back, getting the strength back, and being with my brother, him being able to teach me like the ups and downs in college football, got me back, and had a pretty good year last year. So
yeah, and then you and your brother both transferred after that year. I believe he went to North Dakota,
South
right?
Dakota
South
State.
Dakota, and then you went to Bowling Green. So how was that transition?
And what was the decision making behind going to Bowling Green?
Well, first, the decision, to be honest with you, I never saw myself being at Sanford longer than a year, like without my injury or not. It was like y'all kind of know, like I was committed to Iowa in high school. So I knew, and there's nothing wrong with the FCS level, but I knew I didn't want to, like, that wasn't for me. Like, I knew my talents were better than the FCS level. And so I kind of just went there to get my name out in the college football world, put some film out there, and then leave. And so that was like kind of my decision around it. Like, I just wanted to be able to go play bigger, be at the FBS school, show my talents up there. And then what was the other question?
Going to Bowling Green.
Oh, going to Bowling. It was different. Like, being in the Midwest is completely different. Like, first of all, it's cold, like 8 months out the year. So that's like being from Florida, you know, we only get cold like once or 2 months, and it's not even that cold, like compared to like Ohio.
I would see your stories. You would post like videos of like snow on the field. You would be like, man, even that cold as a joke. Like,
yeah, no, it's cold. I can't even lie. And like being like playing in the snow game, like I played in the snow game. I didn't even know how to like prepare for it. So it was just like kind of getting used to that and playing like in the cold, where it's like you play in a 60-degree game here, y'all, like everybody thinks it's cold, everybody's wearing sleeves, but like we play in a 60-degree game up there, it's like a hot game for us. So just kind of getting used to like the weather to me. And then I don't know too, like it's different. Like people are different in Florida than up in Ohio and anywhere in the Midwest. So that too, just getting used to it.
So you played all 12 games. You started in 6. Did you feel yourself getting better as the year progressed?
Yeah. Early in the year, I was a little like nervous still from my surgery, like with my shoulder. I was wearing a brace and I just wasn't comfortable yet. But after like kind of like when I got into like that starting, like around the 5th, 6th game, like when I got comfortable. And yeah, after that it was just like it felt like the old me again.
Yeah, you led the team in pass deflections, and after that injury, you kind of like see yourself getting better, and like, did that help you mentally, knowing that you're back to Jordan Oladokun, feeling like yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Like I didn't really know how like an injury does to you, like mentally, until like I had to go through it, and like it really can like throw off your game a little bit, and you're not like as like I wasn't as confident as I was until like probably like the 6th, 7th game of the year last year. But once like my confidence got up and like I felt like me again, I felt like it was like, yeah, okay, it's go time now. It's time for me to put on the show out there.
So you guys went to Detroit for the bowl game. How was that trip as the team and really the atmosphere of the game? I know you guys lost, but it's still a good time.
Yeah, it was a great time, one, because we got to play in the NFL stadium. And so like I played in the Butt Stadium here before, but like playing in a different stadium like the Detroit Lions Stadium, like an indoor stadium, was like a great experience. I wouldn't want to give it back. The experience of the bowl game was fun. It was cold as like it was like 0 degrees, -1 when we were there. But it was good like being around the team, and you're with them 24/7 for 5 days, I think. Yeah, 5 days. So like you do everything together. Like you're allowed to go off and like go tour the city if you want. Like we have hours when we can do that. So just being around them, like having fun, like you don't get these times back. So and we had a lot of seniors last year. So just spending time with them was really fun.
So your brother Chris, he's a backup quarterback to Patrick Mahomes, one of the best in the league. Does that give you like an opportunity to meet more people, make connections, learn from players?
Yeah, I would say learn from the most. Like, obviously meet new people too. Like, not everyone gets to meet Patrick Mahomes, so like, yeah, meeting new people too. But I take it more as like a learning experience, because I want to be there. Like, I want to be like just as big or not bigger than my brother in like the NFL world. So learning from people like from like that has that stature, like I couldn't like thank him enough, because it makes me want to go harder. Like when I come home and train, I'm like, okay, I got to catch him. Like that's where I want to be.
I saw you posted a story like you're pretty close with Sky Moore and stuff. And how has he given you any advice of how to get to that next level, and how is it going to be in the NFL?
Yeah, he played in the MAC too, and so he just tells me, just work. They'll find you. You don't have to be at Alabama or at Georgia to go make a name for yourself and get in the NFL. Just go work in the MAC, and you'll see all your dreams come true.
And how was that? You went to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
And how was that whole experience, man? Your brother has a ring now, and all that stuff. So how was that whole experience?
It was great. I never thought I'd ever go to a Super Bowl game unless I played in one, obviously. But like going there and being like a fan, one, is weird because I play like football now, like, and I play at a high level. So I'm like, oh, I want to like be out there. But it was a great experience, like being around everybody that has like a Super Bowl level talent, and like being at a Super Bowl level game is crazy. And like being able to go on the field after and like touch the trophy and take a picture with the trophy is like a dream come true. That's like something that's like playing in the NBA. You want to hold a NBA finals trophy one day. So it really just gave me motivation more than anything though, because I want to be there. I want to win one for me. Like, yeah, it's cool for my brother, but I want to win one.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
So have sports played a big role in your life and friendships and that? Because you've been friends with Kyle for so long, you got your brother. So do you think sports has like really impacted your life?
Yeah, I think without sports, I don't know where I would be, to be honest with you. Like I met like all of my best friends now, like I met through sports at some point. So yeah, I don't know where I would be without football or any sport, to be honest with you. Like me and my brother's relationship would probably be completely different if I didn't play a sport. So yeah, sports is everything, like, to me.
Yeah. So to start wrapping this up, man, I know you got a big year next year. Especially you ended the year off very strong. What are some of your goals that you want to accomplish next year?
All MAC for sure. I want to have a winning season. Like that's the biggest thing. I want to win. Always wanted to win. All MAC, like All American. I want to have 4 or 5 interceptions this year. I still yet to have an interception in college level. So definitely get some interceptions on the board, but just win. I want to be able to win. I want to be able to play for the MAC championship this year.
That's fire. Yeah, and what year are you entering?
My junior year.
Your junior year? Oh,
Yeah,
so that's good, bro. We wish you the best of luck. We appreciate you for coming on the podcast.
Appreciate you.
We got a
having me.
crazy busy schedule coming up, but thank y'all for all the love and support. Shout out to Jordan Oladokun for coming. We wish him the best, and thank you for everything. We out.